This past weekend, I was at EA Play to check out Battlefront 2 and Assault on Theed. Since that city is all the rage right now, I thought it would be good to quickly cover the canon history of the capital city of Naboo and talk about how close to the films the game is. If you've got a sharp eye, you can actually learn a lot about Theed in the Clone Wars episode Crisis on Naboo from Season 4. The fireworks and holographic display during the Festival of Light was meant to detail the history of the planet. A group of humans originally from the planet Grismalt crash-landed on Naboo after fleeing war on their homeworld. They were led by a man named Quilon, and they ventured into the Gallo Mountains. Arriving on Dja Peak, they developed a farming community that eventually grew into Theed. Less than 1,000 years before the events of the films, Naboo officially joined the Galactic Republic, and the Festival of Light was a celebration of that event. The peak on which Theed was built was abundant in natural resources. The early farms were so prosperous that by the time of the Clone Wars, most of the city was able to focus on education and fine arts. The architecture was elegant and sophisticated. As the city grew, so did their need for energy. Theed was powered by plasma mines that were fed into the Theed power generator. Naboo was ruled over by an elected monarch. Throughout its history, the position was frequently held by young women, including Queens Yuram, Amidala, Jamila, Niyutni, Apelana, and Saruna. But kings were not unheard of. King Varuna was Amidala's predecessor, and King Jafan was the earliest recorded monarch in canon history. The monarchs were aided by the Naboo Royal Advisory Council. In Battlefront 2, the street leading to the Palace Plaza is where the first phase of the fighting takes place. I broke out the Canon Complete Locations book and went through my footage to see how accurately Theed is portrayed in the game, and the answer is very. All of the major landmarks like the triumphal arches are represented, like down to the exact details. Only a few streets away on either side is the Salo River. Even buildings you can't reach are there, like the hangar. Everything EA does has to be approved by Lucasfilm, so I'm sure they wanted it to be as authentic as possible, but I'm still just so impressed by how well they pulled it off. Not only does the map feel accurate, but it feels alive and lived in. At the start of the round, panicked citizens flee the streets, and you can still see them running off the side of the map. Astromech droids caught in the battle try not to get shot. I could spend entire games just exploring the city, and we may have spent a round or two doing exactly that, so sorry to my teammates. We had a feedback session after we played the game, and a few players commented that the droid's tank wasn't able to fit through the streets, especially around the MTT. The developers agreed it was a little difficult, but also pointed out that that's just how the city was built. And sure enough, reading through Complete Locations, it says that before the actual Battle of Naboo at the end of The Phantom Menace, the only damage the occupying droid army caused to the city was from tanks trying to navigate the narrow streets. Now, whether or not gameplay or authenticity should take priority in a game like this, I don't really know. Personally, I prefer the level of accuracy, but it wouldn't really bother me if they had to make some minor changes to improve player enjoyment. The second and third phases take place inside the palace, and we don't have much reference to go off of for this section of the palace, but we do know that the throne room is near the front door up some steps, and again, that much is accurate. The throne room itself looks like a perfect match for what we see in The Phantom Menace, even down to the door controls. And while I'm talking about Battlefront 2, I'll go ahead and also just say that the game is really fun to play. I played the same mode on the same map for a combined total of about 3 hours, and it wasn't enough. I want to play more. I'm really excited to see more maps and more modes, and hopefully I'll continue to be just as impressed with the accuracy. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.